versus the world.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 1 of Gon Freecss versus the world.
Yes.
My name's Reese.
My name's Wesley.
And for those of you tuning in for the first time, which I would assume is most of you, the general premise of this series is I am someone who is current on the manga for HunterXHunter. And my good buddy Wesley over here has read absolutely none of it and knows essentially nothing.
Yes, true.
Now, Wesley, if I
Yes.
can get a quick gauge on this, I kind of wish I said this in Monkey D. Luffy versus the World as well, but I wish I'd polled you on what you knew before we read anything.
Mm-hmm.
But is there anything about HunterXHunter at all that you know going in?
I know that at some point these characters will get some kind of magical abilities. I do just want to note that, and I don't know if you've ran into this too, this is a very popular series amongst people that don't like anime. So I've had many people over the years. Another thing that I know is that people have told me that they think I would love it, and it was mostly people that don't like anime who have told me that. So that's like a second interesting piece of info that I know.
That is very interesting. I definitely think HunterXHunter is weird because it has sort of escaped the Shonen gravity well.
I think that's a good point.
There are a lot of people who disdain Shonen Jump or just like anime like this, like battle anime, who still can kind of appreciate and respect this as like an incredibly well-written piece of fiction outside of like the manga sphere.
I think that's very fair. I think even just in this first arc, I think I can already see why. But of course, we'll get more into that as we discuss further.
I think the Hunter exam, which we are covering today, by the way, for those curious, we are going to be covering the Hunter exam. And it's interesting because I think it's probably one of, if not the most divisive arc of HunterXHunter.
Really?
And it's not actually divisive. I think everyone likes it. The only like sort of discussion is this a good arc or is this secretly an amazing like masterpiece arc?
Oh, interesting.
And so like this isn't like good or bad. It's like good or great.
Okay.
And I think I'm just biased by loving later HunterXHunter so much, but I would err towards good more than great. I think the real like Togashi heads, the Togashi fanatics, they really like glaze like this is actually a complete subversion of like all tournament arcs in anime, and I'm like, all right, let's tone that down like 10%. But I do really appreciate this arc, and on reread, I appreciated it much more than like when I went through it the first time, to be absolutely sure.
Mm-hmm. Is this your second time experiencing this arc, sir?
I actually have a really weird sort of answer to that question, which is I've gone through all of HunterXHunter like front to back like once.
Okay.
But specifically like one of the final arcs, the Chimera Ant arc, I've gone through like 3 or 4 times because I think it's like the best story ever told on this earth, and that's genuinely not me exaggerating.
Wow. I'm dying to give that a read then.
If I can give you a quick background on my HunterXHunter like experience.
Of course.
I watched HunterXHunter, the anime, all the way back in high school. And it was one of those things where like my friend was forcing me to do it. And I think one of the most essential rescore things is if you force me to do something, I will kick and scream and hate it. So I have like a vivid memory of watching the first like 10 episodes of HunterXHunter and like genuinely despising it with all my heart. And I was just like, this is like the most stupid stock anime ever. This sucks. Because I had a pretty good grasp on Shonen by this point. Obviously, I wasn't nearly where I was now, but I'd like seen a couple things, and I thought I knew a lot more than I did. Kind of like the Dunning-Kruger thing, where you're like, I thought I was a lot more hot shit than I was, and I was just sort of like dismissing this and mostly just like throwing a tantrum because I was being forced to watch this.
That's fair.
And then, like near the end of the Hunter exam, I'm like, wait a minute. This is really cool. Specifically, I remember like Hanzo. I was like, wait a minute, Hanzo's awesome. What the fuck?
Oh, yes.
And at the very end, that little scene in the cave that we saw, I was like, this is really fun, actually. This is cool. And then, like, the stuff with Leorio is also, like, the other big thing. Leorio and Hanzo were the 2 characters that drew me in at first. I was like, wait a minute, these guys are cool.
Yeah.
Because, and I thought, like, the little, like, the prison game where they're, like, like, the prisoners and, like, the candles and, like, the all of that was, like, really fun.
Yeah.
And it started to soften my heart up. And then, like, the arc after this, like, next one, so, like, we're on arc 1. By arc 3, I was like, this is kind of the best show ever.
Wow.
And then arc 4 is even better than that. So, I mean, you've got a lot of, like, we're on a roller coaster and we've not even hit the damn, like, down yet. We're still on the up.
That's awesome. I'm excited to hear that.
And I think my last comment for this is,
Yes, sir.
'cause I'm more interested in what you have to say than what I have to say, and I'm sure the audience is too. This is my first time reading Hunter x Hunter front to back. I have read past where the anime stops, because the anime actually stops before fully completing where Hunter x Hunter is now in the manga.
Oh, gotcha.
And I'm not sure if you know this. This is I sort of assumed you had, but Hunter x Hunter is still ongoing.
Yes, from my understanding, it's like had a long hiatus, right?
Yeah, it basically Togashi has like the most horrible medical problems ever, like to the point where like he sort of went in an interview and he's like, I'm not like able to sit down anymore. Like I am like in too much physical pain. Like he has to like he says like to use the bathroom he has to like stand in the shower and wash it off. And I'm like, that's horrifying.
Jeez.
So he's like going through like the most immense pain ever. So there was like a Hunter x Hunter before, to my understanding, like even before it went on this crazy hiatus streak, was like kind of spotty of like going for like several month-long breaks, and then it took like a 5-year-long break, and then it would like release one chapter and like do like a 5-year break, and then like 5 chapters, and then people just sort of thought, I was like, are we ever gonna get any more chapters? And then Togashi released like 40 at once.
Oh my gosh.
And then took another break, and then he's like, hey, by the way, another like 20 or so chapters are on their way soon. So people are very excited.
Oh, like right now there's 20 on the way?
Yeah, like recently he has a Twitter page, and he's like, by the way, like there's another like 20 in the pipeline.
Oh, awesome. Well, that's very exciting.
It's really cool. Another 2 comments I have is that I think we talked about this, but Togashi is also the guy who did Yu Yu Hakusho.
Yes, I also want to give that a read one day because I think it looks and sounds very interesting.
It is. I highly recommend it, and I think it's not as good as Hunter x Hunter, but I do think it has like a clear creative vision and especially a lot of heart. He's great at writing characters, man.
Yes, absolutely.
And my second comment is something interesting about Togashi that is very old school of him is he does not allow himself to work with assistants.
Oh, interesting. I feel like that's especially for ongoing series today, that's very rare.
That's like unheard of. Like I mean Fujimoto was like, hey, by the way, I never want to draw again. Like I'm gonna have assistants just mimicking my style for everything I do from now on.
Yeah, I think that's honestly a thing worth discussing in and of itself, but that's a topic for another day.
But it's really interesting because like the Fujimoto manga. Do you know like have you heard this song?
Yes.
That was not drawn by him at all.
I heard about that. It's I forget the artist or the mangaka for that, but yeah, it's just written by him, which is a very Gege Akutami thing to do.
Yes, but I think it's sort of interesting that like every pen stroke you're ever going to see from this guy is like him. That's fascinating.
Yeah. That's very cool.
So I think with that preamble out of the way, is there anything else you want to say about your sort of expectations or knowledge going in?
I think my only thing that I would like to say is that I think I've only ever heard people say that this is like one of their favorites or one of the best series that they've read. So it's got some high expectations to live up to, but I don't think my perspective is too clouded. So I'm trying to go in with just a fresh perspective, but as we'll talk about, I've already been won over quite a bit. So
Oh yeah,
I can definitely see where people are coming from.
I kind of want to start at the very beginning. I don't like to just review stuff in chronological order, but like, what did you think of the very opening of this entire series, like the first several chapters?
So we see Gon when he's much younger. We see him with Kite. I think Kite is a very interesting character from what we've seen so far, which is not much. But I think, I mean, I hate to just do a straight comparison to Romance Dawn in One Piece. You can listen to our thoughts on Monkey D. Luffy versus the World, the other series on this channel. But I think it had a lot in common. Superficially, like we see our hero when they're younger. We get like a little bit of a explanation of the world. But I think what was surprising to me is that I felt like the pacing, not just in the first part, but the entire first arc was a lot slower than what your average shonen fare offers.
I completely agree.
at first I was kind of thrown off by that, but I ended up liking it. I don't know how you felt about it. I'm very interested to hear how the anime handles that, because I feel like, we don't spend too much time like in the past, but I just think it's interesting how the story gets its start.
I completely agree. I think Togashi is a very methodical writer, which I think some people completely bounce off of, but I really appreciate. Like, he is not in a rush. I think this may come from him already having a very successful series in Yu Yu Hakusho, but he is not trying to like hook someone as fast as possible. He's like writing a story, which honestly Oda also kind of does with Romance Dawn. Like, it's not like a crazy great hook or anything, but it's like setting up what he wants to do. But I think Hunter x Hunter even way more so.
Right, exactly.
And I think like letting his characters breathe, not like still like making them distinct and like getting you interested quickly, but not like feeling pressured to immediately like I have to do something cool or I'm gonna get shut down. Gives us a very unique feel for like a shonen.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think my initial take was just I was surprised that there's so few like fantastical elements in this first part, especially in the first chapter or two. There's basically nothing that's, I mean, of course it's like some over the top action and stuff like that, but we're not seeing like any crazy powers. We see like a beast, but it's not too far off on what could be in the real world. So it's a very interesting contrast, because I feel like most other shonen stories are kind of trying to hook you in with at least like what the vibe of the power system or the like the scale of the powers in the world are, and we don't get that at all here.
Yeah, and I also want to say we talked about this off mic, but pretty famously, the Hunter x Hunter anime cuts Kite from the first episode for no reason,
which seems insane to me.
I genuinely just think that's the stupidest. I don't like why. I think that was another thing that was interesting for me as someone who's watched the anime, was it was really cool. The one thing I knew about the manga that I hadn't, like the portions that I hadn't read, was that, oh well, I know that they cut Kite because like everyone's like, why? Like I've never seen a single person defend that decision. That's like a very bizarre decision. But the thing that was interesting for me was I had sort of been led to believe that this was a like 1-to-1 adaptation with the manga, and there were some changes that I thought were interesting and stuck out in my brain.
Interesting. I mean, would you say the pacing was about the same as in the anime versus the manga?
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's yeah, absolutely.
That's fair.
They're both pretty a little slow.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's interesting. I don't necessarily, I feel like slow isn't necessarily the exact right word. You know what I mean? Like, it's definitely, I feel like once it starts moving, it's pretty consistent. But I don't know. I mean, I kind of want to jump ahead a little bit to the Hunter exam starting.
I mean, come on.
I feel like once
it's so good.
It is. But I feel like once that starts, it's kind of it's not like a breakneck speed, which is actually something I like. I feel like each moment really gets its time to shine. But I feel like once it hits there, I don't know. I felt like this is once again, I'm going to do a quick little comparison to One Piece. I think the pacing in the story was genuinely some of the finest I've ever read, because I was just consistently hooked by each like little thing happening, but it wasn't anything like huge or major. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I completely understand what you're talking about, man.
And I think that was just I think it's just cool. I think especially since we do get kind of an exposition dump up front in the first chapter, but I also like how consistently information about the world is spread out throughout this entire first arc. We're not necessarily getting like a huge like rules dump or anything like that in chapter 1.
Yeah, don't worry. Togashi is someone who's not afraid to do big lore dumps and big rules dumps.
One of the most that I'm a fan of that.
I'm glad, because I think Togashi is sort of famous and a little infamous for like having a lot of writing on the page sometimes, which I don't think is a bad thing.
Yeah, I think honestly, I think a lot of manga from this generation, at least from my experience, kind of have that. I think One Piece can also have a lot of writing on the page. This one definitely has more, but it's definitely not something you see as much today, at least from my experience. Although maybe that's unfair, because I think JJK also has a lot of words on the page, so maybe I'm just dead wrong.
Another thing I meant to mention is that this is really interesting because Hunter x Hunter and Bleach are the two biggest inspirations behind JJK. So you're now getting to kind of
Oh, nice.
experience those for yourself. Hunter x Hunter is also one of the main inspirations behind Naruto from when we get there.
Oh, interesting. When sorry, I should have asked this a little bit sooner. When did this first start publication?
Ooh, that's a good question. I know it was before One Piece and Naruto. I'm almost positive. I want to say like 1998. Wow.
Oh wow. So this was post. I'm trying to think in terms of Dragon Ball where this fits in like the Shonen Jump timeline. But this is after Dragon Ball was pretty established by then, right?
I mean, Dragon Ball ended in 95.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
So this was like in that little weird dark period after Dragon Ball ended, and Shonen Jump was like, "Oh my god, what do we do? Oh my god, oh my god."
True. My initial reaction is that it's like maybe that's why this is so unique because it is in that kind of weird gray period.
Possibly. I'm not sure. I'm not even saying no. I just like I'm not sure just because I think Togashi is just a like he just has a distinct style that I think is being captured here.
I think that's fair. I definitely appreciate learning more about like these authors at like as creatives, and I think Togashi is definitely one that has a extremely unique voice. I think besides just like the writing and like exposition, I think his dialogue is also super tight. Even in the first chapter, like I think the little dialogue we get between Gon and Kite is wonderful.
I think that's fair. I think there's something that I thought would even maybe make a good video, but there's a really interesting idea with mangaka, which is how much do you value them as like a writer versus an artist? Like where does that balance lie?
Yeah.
And if we were to look at my little report card,
yes.
In my complaints section, I sort of talk about the art being a little not super impressive all the time.
Yeah.
Which is crazy because there are times where it's very impressive. Like I think Killua and Hisoka especially get to have some very strong showings of like
absolutely
their emotional states.
Yeah. I
sort of think I value Togashi much more as a writer than I do an artist, but I don't want that to devalue his art because I think his composition skills are amazing.
Yes.
And he also is like he can do a good ass character design. I don't know.
True. I mean, something I wish I honestly almost included this as my art appreciation, but Togashi seems to do this really interesting thing when it comes to like movement or action where he kind of draws in the same panel a character starting and finishing their movements.
Yes.
And that's, I think I've seen that in some Western comics, but I've never seen that in manga before.
Honestly, this is a really funny comment, but Skypiea did that a lot with its like comedy, I noticed, which we also
that's actually very true. A lot of the facial expressions people, especially lovely Usopp, they show like his face moving left or right.
Yes, I remember Nami also gets a couple of like she's like talking to one person yelling at another.
Yes, true.
But
it's wonderful.
Like, I mean, I think a great example of this, or like just like him doing really well, like good like composition and action, is when Hanzo just hits Gon on the back of the neck.
Oh yes, for sure.
I can send you that if you really want to take a look at it. But
I remember it well. Don't worry.
It completely like it sells it so well. I don't know how. Yeah.
I think Oda kind of figures this out later on, and I apologize for keep comparing this to other manga, but at the beginning of One Piece, I feel like sometimes the action was a little bit sloppy to maybe sloppy's not the right word, but it was sometimes hard to follow exactly what was happening. I never had a problem, even from the get-go, like picturing exactly what the movement was in this series.
I think all of the actions that everyone takes being incredibly deliberate is another one of Togashi's strengths.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think a criticism of modern Dragon Ball stuff that's not done by Toriyama that I have and a lot of people have is like it's just characters throwing out stuff that doesn't matter. Like someone will do an energy blast or like a bunch of punches and kicks and like nothing has changed. But like Hanzo versus Gon is like every single action that is taken is like visually distinct and changes what is happening, you know?
Absolutely. Yeah.
And that's cool. And that's not even like the best fight in the damn arc. It's just like
true.
I think it stands out in my mind for like being so efficient and like a great character development piece.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more. Honestly, if you don't mind, I'd love to talk about the action a little bit more and the battle specifically.
Please do.
Because I think this is a very interesting case where, once again, we don't see like anything super fantastical, but like genuinely, this is some fantastic like combat already in the series.
Mhm.
There's a lot of like little things that stand out to me. Of course, I've got to reveal my arc MVP of Killua, but I think a lot of the moments where he just quickly does something with like his sharp fingers and he like cuts somebody or something like that. I think it's both very effective because I can tell like the speed. And it's also effective because, like you said, Togashi has a lot of like deliberate. The way he like poses his characters before or after they do something is very deliberate, and
Yes.
it really sells like what's going on as well as the character's emotion, which I think goes a long way in making the action like feel really tight.
I think there's an idea in comics specifically
Mhm.
that I adore, which is basically detail is always very intentional.
Mhm.
And I think something that Togashi does that I really appreciate is that when Killua does acts of violence, it is always rendered very simplistically because this does not matter to him at all.
That's very interesting.
Like when he is walking down the hallway and those guys just like bump into him and he just like decimates them.
Yes.
Like it's literally like basically a comedy beat on some level, but like
Yeah.
he just like goes like ding 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 like dead and he's like, oh yeah, sorry you guys were in my way, like get the fuck
Yeah.
out of here.
True.
I'm comparing that to like going through the art on my damn phone. When
Yes, sir.
Kurapika punches the ever-loving god out of that like weird Frankenstein man.
Yes.
Like it's like incredibly like rendered because like this is like Kurapika is like locked in. He cares about this.
Absolutely.
And I kind of like how Killua gets characterized in that way of like a lot of this is I'm not even saying like it's poorly drawn. Like when he rips the heart of that motherfucker's chest, Jesus Christ.
True.
Like that's really well drawn, but like it doesn't like matter to him.
Right. That's a very cool note. I think Togashi's balance of when to make something simplistic or detailed is very interesting because he kind of has it mastered already, and that is not something you see very often.
I honestly agree. I think this being someone's second manga instead of their first really comes through. Like second successful manga.
Absolutely.
I know that actually One Piece I think was Oda's first attempt at getting a manga published, which was really cool.
That is cool.
But Kubo, for example, I know has like a 30. It's called Zombie Powder. It's on the Shonen Jump manga app, official, and it's got really good art, but the writing's not quite there. But it's fun to see him like find his footing,
Yeah, that is interesting.
But like this is someone who like knows what the fuck they're doing.
Right. Exactly.
Sorry, continue with your action comments.
No, I think those are all great points. I definitely agree. I mean, I think the other thing is just the action set pieces stand out a lot in my head, despite not being super crazy or over the top. Because honestly, a lot of I think it's like a 40-ish chapter arc, and most of this arc is actually not really action focused at all, which I was not expecting at all.
I think those puzzly aspects are what give it that like shine.
Yeah, exactly.
I love the gimmick where they're like, yeah, you have to like cook now, and they're like, we have to what? And they're like, yeah, like we're gourmet hunters. You have to make us food, and like there is like a deeper like sort of reasoning behind like, oh well, this is why we think it'd be useful on some level, but also on some level, these guys are just kind of assholes.
True. And by the way, I'm sure we'll talk about this more later, but I love those gourmet hunter characters.
I've always remembered the girl especially because her design is very cute.
It is. It really is.
I think Togashi is maybe the best mangaka at characterization ever.
I can definitely see that already, man.
I've been wanting to like glaze that nonstop. I just think there's like some sort of like D&D-esque like thing where it's like how does your character like sneak into a building surrounded by guards or whatever. How does your character like open a door? I think that's what it is.
Yeah.
And there are so many like little versions of that where we get to see these characters like as characters shine through with their actions.
Absolutely.
For example,
I think that Killua moment is a good example.
Oh yeah. I mean when Tongpa like gives them poison juice.
Yes.
It's a great moment when she goes like, oh, well, this like tastes weird, and I know that because I grew up in the woods, and I've got like a really refined sense of taste and smell.
True.
And Killua's like, more juice, and he's like, that kid's gonna die. And Killua was like, oh, don't worry. I'm immune to poisons. I know you're trying to poison me. I just don't care. It tastes really good. Give me more.
True. It's
like that's great characterization.
It is, and it's so efficient too. Like that's just in one chapter, but that gives so much information about all the characters. It's crazy.
There's like several other moments like that. Like I think one of my favorite moments in this arc that I don't really see people talk about is like when they go in the cave. The entire like weird cave puzzle with the bees and the snakes and shit.
True.
I love how like that's such a weird like situation for a manga. It's like, oh well, this guy was sitting in here waiting with his snakes, and I snuck in here and I accidentally killed him because I'm a bee person and he's allergic to bees. So now I'm just gonna die here.
True.
And Gon's like solution to this is, well, I can hold my breath for real long, and I've got a high endurance stat, so I'm just gonna like tank all the snake bites. I sort of feel like it's still like that same like hard-headed, like strong boy shonen archetype, but he's using it in such a weird way. Like
yeah, it's
he has to like outthink this in his own weird way, like in a character specific way that wouldn't work for anyone else.
Right, exactly. It's very interesting. And also the art in that moment is absolutely fantastic.
That's like for some reason the most detailed thing. Going back to my detail comment, like I think it's showing that like Gon is not no-selling this. Like he's like feeling it. It's intense for him.
Yeah.
But he does it.
True.
And I think it's great characterization for Gon. He's like, yeah, I'm going to help you out, lady. I'm not going to leave you to die or betray you, but I'm going to take your badge.
Yeah, exactly. It's a great moment.
What did you think of the characters this arc? I think I'm just glazing here too much.
No, you're good, man. I mean, I've got a lot of glaze to give as well. I think the most interesting thing about this arc to me is that the side characters are just as memorable and honestly lovable as the main cast. I like, for example, in the weird prison like maze. I think that like fifth guy, the guy that gives the poison. I feel like in any other manga that would be such a throwaway character, but he's like he's a consistent part of this entire arc, and like I'm glad he is because he gives an interesting dynamic.
He's unironically one of the biggest memes in the HunterXHunter community. People love Tompa.
I can understand why. He's very fun.
There's 1,000 edits of like him walking up to some incredibly strong character and he's like, "Hey, have some juice." They're like, "Nani?" It's coursing through me. And he's like, "Yeah."
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think let's stop beating around the bush and just say that the main four in the series are absolutely delightful.
I gotta hear your impressions on all of them, man. Lay it on me.
I think my goats are Killua, my arc MVP, but I think Leorio is almost there. Like it was a toss up between those two of who I was gonna make my arc MVP. I'd say our other two lovely main cast. I don't feel as strongly about them, but I still think they're really cool, and I think they have some great moments as well.
Mm.
But
it was so damn hard to pick a favorite character this arc, man. Oh my god!
I know. I mean, genuinely, I almost put Hanzo as well because he also has great moments. I think that's a sign of a great manga, or at least a manga to my taste, where I'm like, oh, there's so many great characters that I don't know who to choose from.
I completely agree. I think, I mean, my one comment, the thing that I noticed they really trimmed down from the manga to the anime is they cut out a lot of Hanzo's like silly, funny moments.
That's tough because I really like those moments.
Adored. I love them.
They're great. I think this is also a very funny manga, which I appreciate.
It's got like. It's got a really interesting juxtaposition of tones of like lighthearted and like edgy. Yeah.
I mean, I think something that's that was really interesting to me. Fact check me if I'm wrong here. I'm trying to go through my screenshots. But if I remember correctly, there's not really like much violence or gore, but then we get, I want to say the first shot, is it either Killua killing those guys or is it when Hisoka like cuts off that guy's head?
I think the first time we ever see any gore is when Hisoka cuts off that guy's arms at the very start of the Hunter exam.
Oh, yes, you're right.
But I don't remember how gory that really is. In fact, the anime makes the decision to make it so he just like cuts his arms off and turns them into confetti, and like there's no blood.
Oh, interesting.
So maybe like that could sort of also lean into this idea of like, hey, we're kind of saving the edginess for like later.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, I guess my greater point is especially for that when Hisoka cuts off that guy's head, that was an extremely effective, like, shocking moment for me.
It right? Because like you're so, even though they set up that guy's stalking Gon, you're so locked
Right.
into like Gon's little adventure that you're way more focused on that.
Exactly.
And what a brilliant thing to talk about, like how the best moment to like get someone is when they're about to strike, and then Gon also gets got when he strikes Hisoka. Like, dude,
Absolutely. It's
But
a
yeah.
great writing.
it being like a little bit more like off the gas, like a little more hesitant to be violent, makes the violence like stand out so much more.
Yeah, for sure.
Also, what an inspired choice to have like butterflies that are attracted to blood. Like, what a great like. It's such a wow! It's so good. It like naturally like gives both the characters and audience information, and is a creepy visual to like ratchet up the stakes. Like, oh my god.
True. Yeah. There's a lot of elements of Togashi's writing in this arc that feel very multifaceted.
I agree. So I guess let's like go through like the main characters and just like give me your opinions. Let's start with Gon. What do you think of Gon?
I really like him. I think he's a very strong shonen protagonist. I'd say my initial impression is that I'm not quite as hot on him as maybe some other shonen protagonists right off the beats, but he has some great moments, and especially, I mean, I don't want to spoil my favorite moments already, but
You can.
let's just say
It's okay.
he's definitely a part of that, and I think just the subtle ways that his character develops throughout this arc make me very excited to see what's next with him.
Killua.
I absolutely love this character. I think you as much as anybody know that I love a character that's puts on a very like happy or carefree front, but is not that way at all deep down. And I think Killua is honestly just kind of the embodiment of that. I was not expecting him to be like this little edgelord, which I thought was very funny and has a lot of shock factor too.
And I mean, we're sort of jumping to the very end of the arc, but I love how that sort of immediately gets like we watch his like wall completely crumble.
True. I was not expecting something like that to come up so soon in the story.
In a slightly worse writer, that scene would have felt so blunt and bad. But like,
True.
You just feel so bad for Killua when Illumi is just like, you do not deserve to have friends. You are like an object, and he's just like standing there like sad. You're like, oh, dude, this sucks.
I know. I agree. It's very sad.
But yeah, I only put Hisoka as my little like character for just this one arc because I love that image of him like peeking. From this point on, I will have a lovely Gon, so we can be a Gon and Killua on the report cards.
I mean, I know you're quite a Gon head. I'd love to hear more of your thoughts on him.
I'm Gon to put him on my thing because I love him.
That's very fair.
But I guess speaking of Hisoka, what did you think of him as like an antagonist for this arc?
So I feel like Hisoka is such a big meme in like anime communities at large. But the memes that I've seen are always so vague that I've never gotten a proper read on like what kind of character this guy is. And honestly, after this arc, I still don't really have a good read on what this guy is, which
That's
I
fair.
think is probably intentional, and I like that. He felt in like the best way possible. He felt like he wasn't from the series, which I think is cool.
That's fair.
He just felt like this threatening, like menacing presence. Which obviously there's like some other menacing presences in this arc. But I think just the way that he's presented, and I think the art does go a long way. He has a lot of like striking facial expressions. I think my Togashi art appreciation I've been dying to talk to you about. Because I was up reading this at like 3 a.m. when I got to this page, and it like genuinely jump scared me when I got to this got to that like hyper realistic creepypasta detailed image of him.
It's so good. It's good.
It's wonderful. I was not expecting in 100 years to see anything like this in this manga, but it's an inspired choice to draw with this much detail. It's so good.
When he's about to kill that random old man, he has like a facial expression that looks just out of like Junji Ito.
Yes.
You know what I'm talking about? It's straight out of Ito. It freaks me out.
I know. I almost chose that one too because, God, it's so striking. Like that image that you the Ito image that you just sent me, and then the one on my report card are two that'll definitely stick with me for a while. It's so cool.
It really sells Hisoka's like insanity.
Yeah, he's like the Joker, the only Hunter Joker.
You know what? This is a strange character to jump to next. But what did you think of Illumi?
I honestly don't have as much thoughts.
He's way less important.
Yeah,
Like I'm not expecting you to have like a thesis. Don't worry.
that's fair. I guess my initial impression is that I think they are interesting. Obviously, they have that heart-wrenching moments with Killua. So if I'm understanding correctly, they're siblings?
Yeah, that is Illumi is Killua's older brother.
Okay. I don't know. I definitely like to learn more. My initial impression is that they just weren't as striking to me as Hisoka. But I still think they're very well written and interesting. But yeah.
I just think it's interesting how I love the little moment in which it's revealed that guy with like the like Hellraiser guy is actually just Illumi doing some weird bullshit.
True.
But I love the moment in which he meets with Hisoka because they sort of just joined the hunter exams to like noob stomp because they like needed a hunter's license and didn't give a shit.
True.
But there's that great contrast where basically Illumi goes, well, I got the 2 badges I need, so I'm gonna like dig a hole and sleep in it, like because it's optimal.
Yeah.
And Hisoka's like, well, I'm gonna go like run around killing people for fun.
True.
Like, what a fun, another like great character contrast.
Yeah, exactly. It's we get a lot of contrasting protagonists, but we also get as many different types of antagonists, which is very cool.
I guess speaking of our protagonists, what did you think of Leorio?
I also really loved him. He feels like a very I don't know, he feels like a very traditional shonen character to me, but like in a good way. I thought he was very fun. He probably made me laugh the most in this arc. But he also has a lot of heart and soul, which I really appreciate.
I appreciate me a good like heart on his sleeve, like brash character. I really do.
Exactly. Yeah. And yeah, I think he's very cool. At first I was gonna be like, oh man, I love this guy. This is definitely gonna be my favorites. And then Killua came around, but I really loved him.
He's just so like. There's such a great moment of him always like kind of fucking up and screaming and like blah blah blah, and they sort of pay that off at the very end of the arc, in which he's like super supportive to Killua, and he's like threatening to beat up Hanzo, and like everyone's like, nah man, we're gonna join in because we hate seeing Gon suffer like this.
True.
It's peak. It's just peak. Like I love. He kind of just makes everything worse and fucks it up, but fuck, it's awesome. Speaking of, another couple things I want to comment on that were changed from the anime.
Yes, sir.
Firstly, there's like the very end of like the weird gourmet test is when they like get those eggs or whatever.
Yeah.
That gets massively expanded in the anime to be like a whole 10-minute action scene where they're like jumping down this cliff and grabbing the eggs from spider webs, and there's like a gust. It's like a knock-up stream basically at the bottom of it.
Yeah, that sounds fun.
Which I was shocked to see just like doesn't happen here, and I think that's actually a good addition.
Yep.
And the other addition is that there's an extended fight, more extended fight between Tompa and Leorio at the very end of the very, very end of the tower.
Oh yeah.
Where they puzzle together that, wait a minute, these weapons can destroy the walls, so we can tunnel through the wall to like cheat the system. Hooray!
True. That's cool.
Lastly, of all these main characters, what did you think of Kurapika?
I think he's the character I have the least to say about right now out of the main 4. I like him, but I feel like there's definitely like not nothing to him. I think he has some great moments. I especially love like the Togashi draws really expressive eyes, and I feel like Kurapika has a lot of like expressive eye moments that I appreciate. And I think like their drive as characters seems very interesting, but I feel like this is a lot of setup for like some cool payoff later in the story. Is kind of the impression I got.
Were there any other? I think the only other like major character in this arc is Hanzo, who is amazing.
True. I do want to comment on one other goat of Netero. I think the like
Netero.
Yes, the like old man character.
Yes. I was gonna ask if you had any thoughts on him. Don't worry.
Yes. Okay. But I really like that moments with Gon, Killua, and him. I think that that's another great like contrasting character moments where you get a lot of info about Gon and Killua, but I also think that he's just very fun in that moment and throughout this entire arc.
He's got whimsy, man.
He does. I love some whimsical characters.
I mean, I think a like micro interaction that I adored was Killua starts doing that weird like phantom walk or whatever the fuck.
Yes.
Which is really cool.
It is cool.
And Gon's like, "Oh my god, how are you doing that?" And Netero's like, that's like, and you don't need to know about that, kid. Don't worry.
Yeah.
About it. Like it's too much. It's not your style.
It's not his style.
Yeah, he's not afraid.
Yes.
Woo!
This is a callback.
Dude, Hisoka is the only '60s Joker.
What does that make Hisoka, man? Is that the only '70s Joker?
That's what I said. I said Hisoka's the '60s Joker, you fool.
Oh, sorry, man. I thought you said Killua's the only '60s Joker.
No, I said Hisoka. I said Hisoka.
Oh, I see. I just thought you meant the Phantom Walk is kind of like a disco move, and I was like, I can see that. That's fair.
Morgan Freeman, true.
The '60s Joker unironically made me think of another point I wanted to bring up, which is that the world building is very interesting in this, because something that stood out to me is that there's a quick line when they have to make the sushi, and they talk about Japan as if it's a place that nobody's ever heard of, and that line just like fascinates me, because I just didn't get the impression of like
so
where they
happy
are.
you noticed that.
Yeah.
I'm so happy you noticed that because I think Hunter x Hunter's the weirdest fucking thing about Hunter x Hunter is the world building.
Okay.
Because I feel like without that line, 0% of me would assume this is on Earth.
Yeah, exactly.
But they're like, oh yeah, something like Japan, and I'm like, what? What?
True.
What do you mean?
Yeah, I mean, my one thing that I know about Naruto is that the time in the world building doesn't really make sense for like what time they're in, because like everything is like older, but then they also have cell phones. And I almost got this. I kind of got that vibe here, but it definitely feels more coherent. But it was definitely odd.
It is odd. I wanted to talk about that too because I feel like that's such a bizarre choice.
I hope that comes up more in the future. Just because I think it's very interesting.
It is, and I won't say anything, but it is interesting.
That's very fair.
I think one other thing I really wanted to talk about that I was dying to talk about that's actually my reflections.
Yes.
Is that I thought the section where it's just Netero interviewing everyone and they're all talking about like who they want to fight most and least and why.
I love that moment.
Dude, it's literally that fucking comic book moment where it's like, what do you think of Wolverine, kind of?
Yes,
sort of.
Exactly. It's peak.
And I was like hooting and hollering reading that because I thought it was just such a fun like writing choice.
Absolutely. Yeah, I adored that.
Like I love how like Gon is like, well, the ones I want to fight least are my friends.
Exactly.
And I just like, I don't know. It's a great moment for like every single character. Like
Absolutely.
Hanzo's like 44 is the most interesting, but I don't want to fight him.
Yeah.
It was just Hisoka. I had to like pull up the fucking wiki to be like, okay, who's who? What the fuck?
I know. Luckily, there's that. There's like a spread page a few chapters back that I screenshotted where it like lists the characters with their badge numbers, which I appreciated.
Or I love how Leorio is just like, I love 405. He's my buddy, and I'm like, yeah, let's go, yeah.
Okay, true.
Also, I just realized that Hisoka is 44 because like 4 is the number of death, so he's like 4-4.
Oh, interesting. That's cool. I didn't even think about that.
I love cultural stuff I pick up on. I love doing that. I guess, would you like to talk about your favorite moment, speaking of sort of Hanzo and Gon?
I absolutely would. This moment really stood out to me and really resonated with me. I don't know, so just something about the way that Hanzo talks to Gon in this moment, and then just the way that he says, well, I give the match at the end. It was very peak. I think this is one of the best examples of Gon's character development in this arc. And I just loved the clash of Hanzo and Gon's like personality and like reasons for being there. Because it's all about pride, which is very interesting.
Right, I agree. I feel like in a more traditional story, that would be there'd be some sort of moral about how Gon is wrong for like sort of sticking to his guns like this.
Right. Yeah, it's very interesting, and I love another great art choice is that on the page where Hanzo walks away, which by the way we get another like phantom 2 drawings of his arm, which is very cool. But I love when you see Gon and Hanzo looking at each other, but it's kind of like off kilter, and then Hanzo in his thoughts is thinking, so it's never about pride, logic, or ability. I don't know why that panel really stood out to me.
I think that's very fair. I think the way that this is paneled is really interesting because it shows that even though Gon is like much smaller and weaker, he's like still in control mentally because of his stubbornness.
Absolutely. It's very cool. It's a great Gon moment. And yeah, I don't know. I also love a character with some determination, and Gon has that in spades, and it comes to a head in that moment.
I think it's just such a fun way for Gon to solve this like puzzle once again. He's just like, well, I don't want to give up, so I'm not gonna, because I don't want to. Yeah. And like Hanzo doesn't understand. He's like, yeah, but I can kill you. Like I'm way stronger than you. And Gon's like, yeah, but like I don't want to give up. I gotta win. I gotta get my 100. I gotta get my badge.
True.
And like I think that's great characterization for Hanzo. He's like, look, kid, like I like you. You can just win. Fine. Like you won me over.
True. It's I love it quite a bit. I hope Hanzo is in the series more than just this moment, or this arc, I should say. Because I really like what he brings to the table, like character wise.
I do too, and I will not comment on that one way or another.
I knew you'd say that, and I appreciate it.
I love not saying things.
I'd love to discuss your favorite moment as well, though.
My favorite moment, I don't think this is in any level the best moment, but I just think this is such a cool line that it's always stuck with me, which is Kurapika's line of, like, I do not fear death, I only fear that my rage will fade, like, one day will fade. And I'm like, oh, that's so cool.
True. It's very peak.
I've never forgot that line. I'm just like, fuck, that's like the rawest thing I've ever heard in my life.
True. And once again, great paneling. Oh, yeah.
And also, I just wanted to comment this on, like, in, like, Chapter 2, when we meet Leorio and Kurapika, they're, like, weird beta proto-designs are hilarious.
They are, I agree.
Leorio looks like a fucking flasher, and Kurapika looks like a weird, like, 5-year-old.
True. It's very funny.
It blows my mind that Leorio is, like, 19. He looks 35.
Yeah. That also made me laugh quite a bit when he says, like, oh, I'm 19. I was like, oh.
I love the character moment in which Leorio, like, he talks about, like, yeah, I'm just here for money. I don't care about anything. And then when they're running up the stairs, he's, like, sort of, his walls come down, and he's like, well, I want to get money to become a doctor because my friend died when I was young. And I'm like, ooh. Yep. Oh, yeah, ooh.
That was also great. He's got a big heart, man.
Or I think it's a great moment in which Leorio is standing off with Hisoka, who is, like, a million times stronger than him just because he's, like, you know, like, fuck you, dog. And Hisoka sort of respects that. It's like, look, I won't kill you.
Yeah, exactly.
Leorio, man, I love that guy.
Yeah, he's awesome.
There's so many little, like... Another character moment that I loved was when Netero wants to get the attention of Gon and Killua, like, for the first time. Yeah. He, like, does, like, a weird stare at them, and they both turn around, and Gon just looks curious, but Hisoka is, like, Killua is just, like, freaked out.
I think the story is so interesting because there's so many details, but they're almost exclusively character-related details, which is very interesting and unique.
It is, it really is. It makes everyone feel so realized that they all have, like, different ways of approaching and solving problems, and like different ways of talking to others, and like, I don't know. I love how Gon is just like this, like, earnest and likable kid, and like draws people to his side.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, I even love the moment in which Hisoka is like, "Hey, if I would want to fight anyone, it would want to be you, Netero," and he's like, "Okay, yeah, whatever."
True. That was very
he's
funny.
not give a gosh darn.
Exactly.
I think the last really comment I really want to make here is that I think Togashi's writing really comes across really strongly here because this is a very weirdly structured arc.
I think that's fair.
I think any other writer on Earth would have been like, yep, and then Hisoka loses at the end because the big tournament, the clash between Gon and Hisoka, and Gon tries really hard, and he thinks about his friends, and then he punches Hisoka with all of his might, and then Hisoka fucking explodes.
True.
And like Hisoka would have just been some like asshole who was like tormenting him for. It would have been cool, but like no, Hisoka's just like one other person taking this exam and just thinks Gon is interesting, and they're just sort of like several forces at play here because there's so many at play here. Exactly. And the exam is not just a tournament arc. It's like 9 different weird micro puzzles and a like reverse tournament arc at the very end. And
true.
the person who fails isn't one of these random jobbers. It's like Killua because he of like a character beat. It's like, whoa, this is setting up so much stuff.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's very unique.
I don't know, man. Like he's a writer. God damn it, he's a writer.
True. I just can't wait to see where this goes next because I don't know. We both kind of commented on how it's not like a great shonen hook, but I don't know, man. The hooks are in when it comes to these characters. Like I gotta see more of them.
I completely agree. I think even on reread, I think those first couple chapters aren't like a particularly amazing hook. Like I'm not like, wow, the boat.
Yeah,
what a great moment.
True.
But once we get into like the exams proper, it's pretty grand. But I still feel like I'm definitely like I'm hooked to read more. I don't know about you.
Oh, I absolutely am.
I think anyone who's read this first arc is not going to be like, wow, the action is incredible.
True. It is very good though. It's not the best, but it's easily an 8 out of 10.
Which speaking of, give me your arc rating, buddy.
My arc rating for the Hunter exams is an lovely A-. How about you, buddy?
And I'm the exact damn way. Exact same damn way.
That's you know what? If you're a longtime viewer of this podcast franchise, you know that doesn't happen very often.
True. I think we both can just appreciate this as like a solid damn arc.
Exactly. It's cool.
I'm very excited for this next arc because it has the funniest meme of all time in it. I'm all laughs and smiles hearing that. It's funny because you will not pick up on it while reading it. I'll have to like show you a clip of it because it's just really funny in the anime, especially.
Fair enough. I'm excited to see it.
I think all the listeners at home know what I'm talking about. Well, buddy, do you have any other final comments on Hunter x Hunter as a first-time reader?
I don't think so. I'm just excited to carry on this journey. How about you, man?
I'm just excited to talk to you about it because I think we'll have a lot to say about every arc. I did not think this was going to be an hour-long episode. I thought this was going to be like a tight 30.
True, but I've been having such a great time with you, man. It feels like it's been 30 minutes.
It's true. I feel like I'm the 60s Joker. Woo, woo.
Whoa! We're doing some, you can't see it in the studio right now, but we're doing some disco moves, if you couldn't tell.
All right, let's get out of here. You know what? And if you're listening to this for the first time because you love Hunter x Hunter, check out our One Piece podcast where we do the exact damn thing where I show Wesley One Piece.
Yes, sir. And if you're not a subscriber yet, remember to like, comment, and ring that damn bell.
Wait, I have one more comment.
Yes, sir.
His name is Gon because he's the protagonist.
Oh.
That's not even a pun. That's true.
That's very clever. I'm a fan of that.
That's all I gotta say.
Nice. I wonder why his dad's name is Ging.
Ging.
I wonder
he's the protagonist.